Working. Wait a second, as I can see whether it's working or not. Is it walking? Yes, it is. Welcome everyone to the final race for today in F1WL round 11 Monza. We've seen tier 4 earlier today. Was a bit boring, not gonna lie, but we're here with tier 1 now with a 90-minute long qualifying session and a 25% lap race again. So 13 laps once again. The laps for today's tier 1 race are us. It's 10s. Shui on a current provisional pole position time of a 1:19.573, and Gur, his teammate, in the pits right now, both in Red Bull, now leaving the pits. Wickers in the Alfa Romeo in second with a 1:19.943. Toastman in the AlphaTauri with a 1:20.276. Big Homie in the Alpine with a 1:20.651. Sphinx with no time, currently setting 1. He's on an outlap. In the Ferrari, Sewithwaite in the Williams, currently which he validated, and Chas Messer in the Haas, reserving in tier 1 as he's a tier 2 driver. He's getting a tow from his fellow academy mate, and he's currently setting a time, not on an out lap, but he's setting a proper flying lap. So let's see what time he can set, as there are 11 minutes left in this session. Hopefully there will be some nice action to commentate, unlike tier 4, apart from the safety car. But yeah, I mean, it was a bit boring, not gonna lie. There was not much to say. 121.645 for Chas Messer, who lines up in 5th for the moment. We'll have, surely, he will probably improve that time, surely. I did set a 120 in time trial, even though time trial doesn't really show your performance, but it does show a bit of pace. So if I set a 120 in time trial as a tier 3 driver, I may, you know, tier 2 drivers may be a bit faster than that. So 120 and something. So I think Chas Messer will probably improve that. Meanwhile, Gary's in a flying lap, and he's setting a purple sector 126.104. In sector 1, proceeds to go onto sector 2, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2 approaching. Yes, but opened. Proceeds to finish setting a time in sector 2 and then proceed on to starting sector 3 time to end his lap. Purple sector 252.744 could be in for a provisional pole position time here, and sort of steal it from their teammate. Let's see. Parabolica. Crosses the line to set a 1:19.562, just a few hundreds ahead of their teammate. And we have a few more drivers to their laps. We have Big Homie as Matt Cooper now joins. Big Homie on a 120.651, Chas Messer on a 121.645. Matt Cooper, who's yet to set a lap. So we plays same for him. Sphinx is improving his time by 36 thousandths in sector 2, and he's going to probably improve his time, I guess, as overall lap time. But right now he's run out of fuel, never mind. But right now we have a 1-2 for Red Bull and a podium, a top 3 for Alfa Romeo. So not bad for Ferrari, just the only car for Mercedes Academy, so Mercedes Academy isn't absent at all this week in T1. We only have one car. Williams. So with phase, Shui improves the lap time further and claims the provisional pole position once again at the 1:19.326. And Toastman is on a lap as well. He's going to conclude his lap now. It is set to 1:20.058, 2/10 improved, and he gets it up to 4th place. Meanwhile, so with phase spun at the exit of Ascari, which is we saw that lots of drivers did that mistake in that corner in tier 4, and the same is happening in tier 1 apparently. Meanwhile, so with phase starting their flying up to set a first time in this qualifying session and see wherever they get placed in the leaderboard. 7 minutes remaining. He approaches the first chicane now. It's crucial to get a good exit here, to get a good run onto the first sector. Approach then the second chicane, not the last though, because there's Scar, which is also a chicane. 26.4 from Sub with phase in sector 1. He has a powerful sector 1, goes through the second chicane now to approach Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. Goes a bit wide, could coast a few tenths there, but he opens the IS onto sector 2, into the second straight actually. Could be the second straight actually. 53.3 does not set a proper time in sector 2, but he spins to compensate in Ascari. That's not helpful at all. He does have 6 minutes or so remaining, but that does not help him at all. Meanwhile, Matt Copper is in a flying lap as well. Purple sector 2 he set. He comes off Ascari and proceeds to complete the lap in a few seconds. So face goes into the pits. It's like Chewie and Gay are both confident, both in the pits right now. And I want to Matt Copper now crossing the line to set a 1:19.861, not far, just 5/10 from Shui, and he gets in 3rd. Not bad for a tier 2 driver. Wickers meanwhile improved that time, it seems, to a 1:19.943. No, wait. That wasn't Wickers, that was Jazz Misser, who set a 1:20.071. I swear I saw Wickers improving it, but I may be wrong. Jazz Misser with a 1:20.071 puts himself up in 6th place, pushes Sphinx and Big Homie down 1 place to 7th and 8th, respectively. The Sphinx is improving their time by 5/10, sets a purple sector 2, and is going on to sector 3 now, to eventually improve their time further and enter the top 5 once again. Let's see. He doesn't go into the pits, I thought he was. The eyes were open. And he does enter the top 5, just misses out on the top 3 by exactly 10 thousandths of a second. But he does set a 1:19.871, not bad. Not bad at all. Still Matt Copper though is ahead by 10 thousandths. Just miss pits then. And everyone seems to be in the pits apart from Sphinx, who's just ended the lap. So he's going to pit as well, I think. So with Face is the only driver who hasn't set a proper lap time yet. And that is interesting indeed. Because if he does not set one, he will start last. And you don't want that in Monza where there's tier 1. Turn 1 I meant. Someone's leaving the pits. That's a AlphaTauri, the AlphaTauri of Toastman, who's going to leave first to start the first series of final flying laps in this qualifying session. The first one to go onto the last out lap of this session. Following behind we have Big Homie and Subway Face. Then we have should be Ger, yes. We have then no one else apparently. No one else is coming out the pits, probably waiting a bit more. But we're now waiting for Toastman then to he will be the first one to complete a lap unless he does a mistake or just lets others pass, but that's how it should be. We should have Toastman completing the first lap of the session right now, as Shui now leaves the pits, as well as Weakers and Sphinx. Does Matt Copper follow or not? Jazz Mister follows, not Jazz Mister, Matt Copper follows, I think, yes. Matt Copper follows, Jazz Mister does not follow yet. Those men though, actually, it's not him starting the first lap, it's Silverface. Silverface got led past by Toastman. He's starting the first lap of this session and he will end this session, as well as others who are starting laps now. Matt Copper, not Matt Copper, Jazz Mister decided to stay in the pits. He's leaving them now, but he won't be able to settle up because the lap time is at 1 minute 20. He left at 50 seconds remaining, so he's not making it. It's Matt's. So we face then onto Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. He almost had a snap there at the exit because he's letting the Haas pass the Haas of Matt Copper to start the flank up. He's probably wanting a tow from the fellow academy mate. So we face though onto Ascari Exi. He finally manages to get that right. And this is a one-shot qualifying lap for Silverface. So it's really crucial he gets this right to get a nice starting spot. Up next we have Toastman, by the way. Stressmister completes the session in 7th place. Silverface in 8th place, 120.181. Toastman in 6th with a 119.984. Big Homie pits. Ger does not complete the session, decides to wait, doesn't take the pole. Matt Copper, not Matt Copper, Shui next. Sets up bubble sector 2, he's going to prove the time even further than he did now, but he spins at Ascari, and he damages his old wing due to that. But he doesn't retire, luckily. He has to be careful when rejoining track, as Sphinx passes by. He spins at Ascari exit as well. What is going on Ascari right now? However, Matt Copper and Wicked survive. At least the two survivors, but they still have to do Parabolica, and as I speak about that, Matt Copper spins as well. What is going on? Wicked is the only survivor from this. And he doesn't improve that time, but he still stays P5. What has happened in the span of like, what, 30 seconds? Having spun in Ascari or Parabolica. What the hell? And that's your starting grid, by the way, for today's session. Shui has a 5-place grid penalty. Oh well. That changes stuff a lot. Just having a drink before we start, because this is gonna be, I can tell. And I'm going to prevent noises, outside noises, from getting into the stream. Anyway, starting in 15 seconds. Let's see what tire everyone's starting on. Five seconds then, and we're going underway with the formation up on this 13 lap race. Here we go then. So, no one is starting on hard, it seems, but there are 4 people starting on softs, majority on mediums. So we have Ger starting, okay, he's the main starting on mediums. Ger is on softs, Matt Copper on softs, Sphinx on softs, So with Face on softs. Rest of the drivers weakest, Toastman, Shui, the Chessmaster and Big Homie all starting on mediums. This means that the soft runners are gonna have issues, gonna have lots of issues at some point during the race at about lap 4. While the medium runners will just fly past them. That's how we will go with the first half of the race. I have no idea how the second half will go, but we'll see. Right now though, the soft set runners are gonna be a bit faster, but not by that much. They're gonna struggle. Oh, we already have the first victim of the formation now. That's Toastman, who somehow spun on a straight. Good job. Just kidding, of course. Just gonna put some entertainment also, the jokes and the stream. That's good. Just flies by onto the grid. Shui is starting 6th after a 5-place grid penalty somehow in qualifying. So Garrett starting 1st, Matt Copper 2nd, Sphinx 3rd, Wickes 4th, who gets disqualified from having contact with someone. Toastman in 5th, disqualified from the formation lap, because Toastman in 5th, Shui in 6th, Chessmaster in 7th, So with Face in 8th, and Big Homie in 9th. That's your starting grid for today's Grand Prix. Everyone else places themselves on the grid. Sphinx got a red parking slot, not good for them. Let's do Ferrari Academy cars caught in one in the span of 1 second. Anyway, should be going underway really soon. It's 5 red lights right now. What a horrible camera angle we get every time. But it's lights out and away we go. We're getting a not a bad start, but there's Shui behind, who's trying to make their way up by following close the Alfa Romeo behind as we approach turn 1. It seems to be all good. There's a Haas behind who caught lacking there, as if it ends up in 9th place, but overall it's not gone terribly bad, I suppose, so something will happen now. And it is something happens as Sphinx to cut the whole chicane, gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and goes side by side with So with Face now. Through Lesmo 1 they go. All good so far. Lesmo 2 Sphinx stays ahead. Meanwhile, Shu is battling with Big Homie as he almost goes into the barrier there, and he gets dropped to P9 now in the span of like one corner. Meanwhile, his weakest there trying to go side by side. Adaskari, he did walk as Sphinx now crashes out. Adaskari likes Shui almost did in qualifying and brings out nothing. So race continues. But he's out of from the race. Oh, and Chesmis loses it in Parabolica. Good start of the race for the Ferrari Academy. But Shui, though, he's trying his best right now to claim the first place again. I won on Dutch soil, so he may as well win on Italian soil, I guess. He claimed 6th then after sort of sending it at turn 1 on weakest, and he now goes on to hunting Big Homie for that top 5 spot. And he has the same issue that I have, that I lock up corners, but it's not true. Like on others' POV, it looks like I lock up corners, but on my POV it doesn't look like that. Because I don't even feel it. See, that's the same issue though, right then. Oh, we don't care about it. I mean, you know how the game is, so you know there's lots of glitches. So Back sure he's catching up on Big Homie ahead, and will probably try and overtake quite soon on the Alpine driver. While Wickers is just getting pulled away from. Well, Toastman sets the fastest lap of the race. Provisional fastest lap as Shui now gets that record, sort of. 121.873 as Selfie squeezes literally Shui onto the wall there. He got no damage somehow. He now sends it at turn 1 on Big Homie. Sends it onto the sausage curb there, but he claims 2 places in one corner, which is not bad, but he almost got damage from that. Subway Face may want to be careful next time. As Wickers claims the place on Big Homie now, who got dropped quite far behind. And Subway Face now spins at the second chicane. He's pitched on the sausage gate, but he may want to reset the track, but yeah. Ches Mister now passes by and claims 7th place. Poor Sir, who's got pitched on the sausage curb right now, but it is what it is. We know it can happen with this game, which is quite realistic, but on the other hand, there are lots of glitches which ruin the fan as Wickers there goes wider at the Ascari exit, and he gets passed by Big Homie. So we face got stuck from the curb there. But that ruined his race completely as Ger comes into the pits. Lap 4, what did I tell you? So only last 4 laps, and he did tell that even in the tier 4 stream. Because of course the tire weight review is adjusted for a 25% race. Of course that happens. Then with face spun at the Ascari exit. I don't know if he doesn't want to continue this race, but yeah, he doesn't want it. He's just smashing himself into the barriers. Completely smashing himself. And he brought out, look, a safety car. Perfect. And that plays out in the hands of Matt Copper, who's in softs. Probably so with Phase as well at this point. Ger though switched to mediums. That got Ger a free pit stop, sort of. Now we have a safety car, which will probably go in at lap 6. And yeah, so let's see who pits in, who stays out now. This will probably shape the race completely now. So with Face pitting for a brand new set to mediums. Not a bad strategy, not gonna lie. But there could be a better one. Just saying. The reason did a better strategy to do. But I'm not saying which, because the race weekend is not over yet. I will say it in tier 2 if I commentate. Probably not, because I'll be driving probably. Depends on the attendance. But if not, I can stay it because it's the last race then. So Big Homie stays out. Wickers gets a spinning in the pit lane. Matt Copper, Toastman, Shui and Wickers all pit. Toastman did just read my mind apparently. Goes on hards. Shui does the same. Wickers on soft. A lap 5. Well, they could walk because the safety car goes in later. But those tires are not gonna last, my friend. Well, good luck, I guess, in extending the stint. Because I don't know if they're gonna last. They're probably not. Well, good luck. And who else? Matt Copper bits for mediums. He's starting on hards, right? And soft cement, right? Yeah. Okay. All good then. Only drivers who could make another pit stop are Wickers. Basically, only driver is Wickers. Other than that, if there's not another safety car, that's how the race should go. Big Homie stayed out, as well as Sker, Cruz claimed P5 from that. Big Homie stayed out, as well as Chess Misser, and they both got in the top 2 places. Haas here could have a 1-2, but Chess Misser didn't pit. So, yeah. And now the safety cars are gonna go in a lap 6, at the end of lap 6. Which means Chess Misser is going in right now. That's a really well played pit stop right there. At least he doesn't lose as many places. He can still catch up. And Shui pits as well. What happened? Shui decides to go for mediums instead of hards. Huh. I mean, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Chess Mister goes on softs as well. That's a terrible idea, I'm saying. But we'll see how it plays out for them. May as well play it out well if they can save the tires, but otherwise it's gonna be a real pain, and you will see what I mean with that. Sure though, on mediums, of course I'm not the expert or something, but League Races in 2019 I've learned how to, you know, read the data from the game. I may not be an expert or anything, I may not be that good, I may not be like the best one at making strategies and stuff, but not even the worst. Like, certainly I maybe know what I'm doing when I'm making certain strategies, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that safety car is going in this lap, and so with Phase has not caught up yet, which is a real issue for him, because if he doesn't manage to catch up in time, that will be his race over, unless there's another safety car, which I doubt, honestly, because he browed it. The safety car was browed out by him. Looks like he's catching up in time. Luckily, you do not wanna be left behind when a safety car goes in. Looks like it was calculated perfectly, as Big Homie now speeds up and leaves Matt Copper a bit behind, vulnerable to Toastman, who is catching rapidly. Girdle is not wanting to stay behind at all, as Toastman goes in at turn 1, makes contact with the Haas of Matt Copper. Wickers has to cut the corner, and Chess Mister, like on the start, he spins out as well as Gur now. Gur spins out for loss of traction. What is going on? Later on, we have Toastman who spun with Wickers, probably made contact. What has happened at the series start? Ruins lots of drivers' races. And that keeps Big Homie in the lead. Matt Copper in second, Shui in third, who's slowly getting there, up there to the same place where he should have started the race on. So with Face in fourth, after what has happened, and Chess Mister just spun again, at the exit of Lesmo too. He got some damage, but not too bad for them. Not like bad damage. Good though. Good drop to 8th place, which is last place due to Sphinx not finishing the race. But from starting first to finishing last is not ideal, I can tell. He now wants that 7th place before it's too late, as Weekers now retires from the session. Exit of Parabolic it seems, and that's another safety car, which allows Just Mister to pit for damage, and Gert does the same, follows him into the pits. Well, I knew this race would be exciting in terms of action. Oh, Gert got damage as well, mediums for them. Just Mister going on soft switcher now. Gonna last. Now it depends on whether... Yeah, Big Homie will probably pit now, I would assume. He got lucky with the second safety car. And I did say I would have dived to another safety car, but I wouldn't know because we would retire Parabolica somehow. I don't know how he did. I was just following the action behind because I didn't know what happened behind, and then Wickers crashed a Parabolic. He probably had contact with someone because you don't spin like that. You may have done he may have done a Leclerc as well. Oh, we don't know anything about that because I couldn't see on stream. Anyway, Big Homie going into the pits indeed. Leaving the first place to Matt Copper, who's gonna fight hard for that with Shui, who could be the winner of this race at some point. Big Homie goes for soft Toastman pits as well, knowing going on hards may not be the best thing when you are a lap 9 out of 13, and perhaps may switch exactly to softs. Toastman has called perfectly what I mean about strategies. It seems like you got my knowledge because it's not hard to get it as long as you know how to read the game data. It's easy. So now we have, in the order as it stands, Matt Copper leading, Shui in second, so we face in third in a podium spot, which he will have to defend with really hard because Big Homie, Toastman and Chaz Mister are all on softs and they're all behind them. And then we have Gert in 7th, who's going to probably improve that place, hopefully, for him, on mediums. Weakers and Sphinx retired, both on softs. But of course that is irrelevant when they DNF. Unfortunately though, because they may have had a great race as well. But that's how it went for them. So safety car is going in at the end of this lap. Just Mister and Gert both catch up now to the rest of the pack. So what are your predictions, everyone, for the rest of the weekend and this race as well? Leave them down in the chat if you want. Be having a read as we wait to restart this race, which will be restarting at the end of this lap, but You have time to type anything you want, cheer for anyone you want, or for any team you want. Safety car then, shuts the lights down. That means safety car is in this lap. There may be still 7 drivers remaining, but that's not... that doesn't mean anything when you got plenty exciting action. You could have 2 drivers and still have an amazing race. Just because of the battles. And here we go then. And I have experienced that with my own league, by the way. Apart from that, Matt Copper officially restarts this race as it's a green flag and we go back to racing. Going to attack the Haas driver ahead, who's a tier 2 driver, so he's doing a pretty good job in probably getting a win if he knows how to defend Shui. Shui goes on the outside at turn 1, he locks up a bit. He goes on the inside at the next corner, squeezes Matt Copper a bit on the gravel and they both collide. Matt Copper loses speed too, but he doesn't have it. Does that much of damage. Shui though could drop all the way down to P7. Oh my, that's the worst thing which could happen to them. But the race is not over yet, of course. Anything can still happen, as I always say. Now, because promoting up a place, Matt Copper now can probably gain the place in Big Homie. But he has to be quick because Toastman doesn't want to wait too long behind the Haas car. And meanwhile, Chas is going on the inside of Gur and claims the keeps the 4th place. Yeah, keeps the 4th place. Gur was trying to attack on the outside. Yeah, it was me reading seeing the ball wrong. But how unlucky is Shui? His theory is right for real. When I'm in the lobby, he spins. And he's not joking, because that happened for real twice now, both in qualifying and in the race. 121.486 if I'm not wrong, 846 for Big Homie, who sets the provisional fast race. And Chessmaster does not look too far behind Toastman. He could look for a move. He does look for a move right now. He goes on the inside at the next chicane. He does get... Oh, and he pushes Toastman a bit wider. Toastman might have to give him the place back here. He's just getting held up here by those two. And does not like that because Subway Place is behind and he's catching up rapidly. Subway Face, by the way, got dropped a lot behind. He was like in 3rd and now he's in 6th. Just noticed that now. Go gets past Toastman, probably to Academy Orders, I don't know. But he goes onto the hunt of Chas Miser, who, as you see, he's on 4 lap all softs, and the faster tire right now is in the mediums. So, if you can read the game data, it's not hard to make strategies on this game. Neither on the previous games, but the better you can read it, the better the strategies are. So, the aspect open as Shui sets the provisional fastest lap of the race on 7 lap all mediums. That's killed right there. 121 points. Oh well. Contact between Gur and just Mr. Toastman trying to get to fit in the battle, getting in the middle of those two. Toastman just has to wait behind. Big Homie gets dropped to P2 after Macabre is trying to go on the inside here. He does get the 1st place back. And here Gur almost doing a Vettel back in 2018. Toastman gets past him. What about Wilson right now? Toastman trying to go on the outside here. Both the Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. There's a bit of contact. I don't know if that was a good contact or not. But they all have the IS behind Toastman. Chasmister trying his best right now to get the place on Toastman. He has to go wide. Araskari gains the place as well, and they both spin. Araskari, they both make contact. Oh my god, what is going on in this race? I don't understand anything anymore. Let me check quickly. 121.448 is the fastest lap right now. So we face Spawn as well. Scary, he has the end plate damage. That's his last lap, by the way. I just realized. And Matt Copper won the race out of nowhere. Sorry if I didn't see that, but I just realized it was the last lap. Matt Copper then wins. Big Homie in second after an amazing battle though. We have, if I'm not wrong, Toad in third. And so we face in fourth. What has gone on? Congrats then to Toastman for getting a podium. Somehow, no one knows how, because the battle that there was just insane and chaotic too, but just crazy. Though the winner of this race, out of nowhere, could have easily won this, but he made contact with Matt Copper at the restart. Matt Copper wins the race. Big Homie in second, Toastman in third, Shui, not so with phase, in fourth. With a fastest lap to 131.448. That is a good comeback from 6th place. So with phase in 5th. Not too far away from Shui's lap time. In 6th we have Chas Mister, who had contact with Ger going there at Ascari. There may be lots of penalties after this race, I think. But that gives us a nice background on how the Tier 3 and Tier 2 races could go. And I'm really worried. Then Ger in 7th, Wickers in 8th, Houdinef, and Sphinx as well. Houdinef in 9th, though the first driver to DNF from the race. That's the end of this Grand Prix then. Well, what can I say? That was a great race in comparison to Tier 4, but if you want to watch more of those races, we just have 2 more races left this weekend. Tier 3 at 6 PM tomorrow on Sunday, and Tier 2 at 8 PM tomorrow on Sunday. If you don't want to miss them, then tune in on the stream. We should have a 50% race in both of those two. With the short qualifying session, Monza of course. So you're welcome to watch it. For now though, it's a goodbye from Luigi, who had fun commentating the Tier 1 race, but it's all for now. Bye everyone, and see you all tomorrow at 6 PM and 8 PM for Tier 3 and Tier 2.